The GTA series is filled with many great features. And yes, sometimes they are not very logical and seem downright stupid. Perhaps the best example of such a mechanic is pay and spray. It offers truly amazing possibilities, but, well, it prevents the player from taking a more rational approach to the game. We can go to the city center, take out a minigun, destroy 1,000 cars, then murder dozens of NPCs, and then, to avoid responsibility for all this, enter pay and spray. And of course, doing this literally in front of the police car. We change the color, toot sweet, and everything is fine. The 100 soldiers who wanted to rip our heads off 5 seconds ago suddenly forget about it. Nevertheless, if we close our eyes to certain rational reasons why it does not make sense, we cannot imagine the GTA series without this funny feature. Let's say I have the police on my back. Okay, I'm going to pay and spray, or I'm going outside the wanted level circle on the radar. There are a lot of similar things. Unfortunately, among all these cool, useful, surprising, and interesting mechanics, we can also find a lot of gaffes. In most cases, it is difficult to guess why some of them are even there. A perfect example of what we are talking about is something offered by one of the warehouses in Portland Harbor in GTA 3. If anyone is unfamiliar with the topic, it is about the garage to which we take the armored van in the van heist mission. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if most of you didn't even know that this garage is active for us after the mission and that we can interact with it. Coming to the point, there is a team in this garage that professionally deals with cracking such armored vehicles. All this to get to the loot that might be hidden in such vans. So the theory looks good, but at some point it falls apart a bit, but more on that in a moment. Anyway, after completing this mission, the player receives a pager message that this garage operates all the time in the game world, even outside the mission. So if we find a secure car, we can take it there and get some cash for it. And well, some is probably the best way to describe the amount of money we receive. Well, the money reward system is a joke here. The garage gives us money for the first 10 delivered payroll vans. For the first one, we receive $5,000. For the second one, we get $4,500. For the third one, we get $4,000, and so on. For the last secure car, we receive only $500, which is simply quite strange. Like, what's the deal? How is the payout calculated, and on what basis is the percentage of the loot obtained? Assuming that Claude receives 20% or even 10%, this means that there were $5,000 inside the van, or even less. Who the heck rents a van to transport that small amount of cash? I don't know about you, but for me, renting a van and 2 security guards to transport as much as an average Wall Street businessman carries in his pocket seems like a strange idea, to say the least. Moreover, from the player's perspective, it is a completely useless job. Finding a convoy on the streets of Liberty is not that easy. Furthermore, once we find the van, we have to get it to the place. And in the end, we get some pennies. Granted, it's not a small job, but considering how much Claude earns from the story missions, or even from other side activities like delivering cars to the docks, delivering armored vans doesn't seem like a lucrative job. It's better to put out fires in GTA 3 than do this type of stuff. The situation gets even funnier when we decide to bring the 11th, 12th, or even 13th secure car to the garage. The guys in the garage will then say that we won't get the money. Why? Because they already have this vehicle, and so the new secure car is worthless to them. God have mercy! I don't know if there's a person born at this moment who can solve this mystery. These guys are supposed to be in the business of stealing loot from armored vans, not collecting these vans. So does Claude get screwed in this situation? Nah, of course not. The icing on the cake is that this entire quest isn't even required for 100% game completion. To discuss another thing, you wouldn't even need to move to the next GTA, because what we will talk about is also in GTA 3. We're talking about an adrenaline pill. This is an example of something that, in my opinion, is not that bad. The problem here is the developer's concept of how the adrenaline pill is taken by the player. This is what makes the entire feature completely pointless. Let me explain. When someone doesn't have a very good aim or plays on a gamepad where aiming is more difficult, slowing down time provided by the adrenaline pill is awesome. This is shown by one of Antipuli's missions, in which we have to deal with the Cubans. There are quite a lot of similar situations, both in GTA 3 and GTA Vice City, where an adrenaline pill would be perfect. But what's the point if we don't have any at hand? A nice example here is the end of the Loose Ends mission. At the very end of this task, many enemies are waiting for the protagonist. An adrenaline pill would be perfect in such a situation. And that's the point. In order not to be completely useless in the game, adrenaline pills should continue to be available on the map, but they should also be added to the player's inventory. That way, we could use them at a specific moment. That is when we actually need to use them, and not just immediately. In turn, what we don't need in GTA San Andreas is the feature of towing cars to a police compound if we get arrested in that car. Yes, it's a cool and interesting mechanic, but it's not very practical. It is only useful when a policeman arrests us in the car. Then yes, especially if we had a cool ride, the nice thing is that we can get it back. Well, we can get it back by stealing it from the police compound, and on top of that, get 3 stars of wanted level and a helicopter chasing us. However, this mechanic works worse in most other situations. There are tons of examples. We arrive at the mission marker, park the car nearby, the cutscene ends, and then the car is towed away. The police station is often located far from our current location, so if we want to get the car back, we have to drive across the whole city to get it back. Let's not forget that after that, we will have to visit Pay and Spray because we have 3 stars for entering the police parking lot. And of course, there is a small chance that our car will last long while having 3 stars of wanted level, because some crazy police officer on the motorcycle will probably destroy our vehicle in a matter of seconds. The icing on the cake of this mechanic is the same as in the case of the garage in GTA 3, only a few people know about it. All because the mission through which the game was supposed to introduce this feature was cut. I am talking about an additional mission for Cesar Villalpando. As a curiosity, it is worth mentioning that the game files contain audio from the cutscene of this particular mission. We stick to the missions, but now we take a closer look at GTA Liberty City Stories. Well, the most or one of the most pointless things in GTA Liberty City Stories is the Noodle Punk side mission. I'm sure most of you know about the Pizza Boy mission in GTA Vice City. In short, monotonous delivery of pizza by scooter around Vice City within the time limit. A task worth doing because it gives you more HP. Instead of 100 points, Tommy can have 150 points after completing this activity. Therefore, his maximum health gets increased by half, which will be important in the context of the rest of the story. The Noodle Punk side mission in GTA Liberty City Stories is an exact copy of the Pizza Boy mission in Vice City, except that instead of pizza, you deliver noodles. And overall, it's cool, a nice change, but there is a catch. The Pizza Boy mission also appears in GTA Liberty City Stories. The creators thought that it would be a cool idea to divide the possibility of increasing the player's HP into 2 monotonous quests with the main role of delivering food. In GTA Vice City, after 12 levels, the issue was resolved. In GTA Liberty City Stories, you need to complete 10 levels of the Pizza Boy mission, which will give you a 25% health bonus, and then 10 levels of the Noodle Punk mission, which will give you another 25%. And even if we don't care about getting increased HP, but we want to achieve 100% game completion, we simply can't escape from completing these 2 monotonous tasks. In GTA Vice City Stories, it is easy to escape from having to use a completely useless item, binoculars. It appears in a mission called Leap and Bound. The item is so pointless that a sniper rifle performs the same task. And what's more, it can be used as a weapon as opposed to binoculars. So I don't know why these binoculars are made in the first place. Even the range between a sniper rifle and binoculars does not differ at all. So we will see the same thing from a distance with both objects. As an interesting fact, it is also worth adding that when Vic holds binoculars in his hand, then for some unknown reason, he cannot hurt a pedestrian in melee combat. The damage is deactivated, even though Vic is still able to throw punches. It's very strange, honestly. It is also strange why Niko Bellic accepts payments from his employers after completing the task. I am saying this because not being able to spend money in GTA 4 is the biggest nonsense. Many players believe that GTA 3 is the most hopeless in this respect, but I think otherwise. At least in GTA 3, we need some money towards the end of the game to save Maria from Catalina. Considering how extensive and complex GTA 4 is, this is a big drawback, and at the same time much more visible than it was in GTA 3. Nico Bellic goes to the United States to earn money and spend it on various things and pleasures. Meanwhile, the only thing Nico can buy is weapons, some shoes, and a pullover, maybe also a new ringtone or a new phone wallpaper with boobs. No unique cars, no safe houses, no businesses, no tuning, and nothing on which Nico could spend his hard-earned money. I have a weird feeling that it looks like a game simulator of how to make savings. By the way, there is another useless feature in the game related to money. I'm talking about ATMs that are used only to show the player his account balance. This is probably something for immersion enthusiasts. I can't explain it otherwise, because the account balance is shown in the pause menu. Then we move on to GTA, the Ballad of Gay Tony, in which the statuette of the most useless thing goes to a police motorcycle. If you haven't even heard of it, it's okay. For some reason, this vehicle is only available in multiplayer mode, exclusively in the one made for the Ballad of Gay Tony. It can be found in 4 locations on the map. Yes, no mistake was made here. Everything was said correctly. Even if we are tempted to play the GTA 4 online, we have to play the one dedicated to the Ballad of Gay Tony. In addition, on the streets of Liberty City, we will never meet a policeman who would use this vehicle in action or even patrol the streets. What's more, there are several bugs and shortcomings. First, unlike other law enforcement vehicles, the motorcycle has a normal radio available instead of a police radio. Going further, if we look through the windshield of the motorcycle, the sirens look as if they were smashed. Sticking with the sirens, it is worth mentioning that pedestrians will not react to them, unlike other privileged vehicles. Moving on, the animation for getting on the bike is also screwed up. Not only does the player grab the invisible steering wheel, but his arms stretch when getting in. So the developers created a cool vehicle, which they ultimately neither refined nor found any use for. On top of that, they made it exclusive to multiplayer mode for some reason. Then we'll take a moment to look at GTA, The Lost and Damned, where I chose pipe bombs as the most useless thing. This is the same category as the Noodle Punk side mission from GTA Liberty City Stories. Pipe bombs work the same as grenades. Hell, just like binoculars in GTA Vice City Stories, we would probably never use pipe bombs ourselves. That's why there is a mission in The Lost and Damned during which pipe bombs are mentioned by the characters and are added to the player's equipment. And finally, these pipe bombs are so bad that it is difficult to use them sensibly anyway. You can't aim while driving a vehicle, so you can't control where the pipe bomb will land. So in the end, in the mission where pipe bombs are to play the main role, it is still better to use a handy machine gun. In GTA Chinatown Wars, it was difficult to choose something completely pointless or useless. So if you could give me a hand here, it would be grateful. Let me know in the comments section, what is the most useless thing in GTA Chinatown Wars in your opinion? For now, we are moving on to the latest installment of the series. In GTA 5, the choice fell on GTA Online. No, I'm kidding. I wouldn't be myself if I hadn't said something bad about GTA Online. Now, for real, I think that the Mount Chiliad cable car that players can use to get to the top of, and as well to get down from the mentioned mountain, is the most useless thing in GTA 5. The views, as the views are, can be quite good. But to be fair, the coolest view is from Mount Chiliad itself. In addition, by taking the cable car, we deprive ourselves of the possibility of going down the mountain in an off-road vehicle, which is usually the main reason why we want to get to the top of it. As an anecdote, it is worth mentioning that we can put the subway system in Los Santos ex Aequo with the cable car, which, by the way, very few people know about. At least it was presented to us in GTA 4, so I know people who like to use this means of transport interchangeably with a taxi. In fact, it wasn't even mentioned in GTA 5, and in my opinion, there was little point in bothering to implement it in the game. If there are other pointless things in any GTA part that you would add, the comments section belongs to you. I now recommend watching a video about one thing in every GTA game that sucks. Meanwhile, I'm saying goodbye to you. Take care and see you soon.